Welcome to Bangali Live 90.5 FM, connecting Bangali Australians.
শুভ সন্ধ্যা 2020 প্রথম এপিসোডে আপনাদের সবাইকে আমি আরজে প্রিয়া জানাই স্বাগতম। গান বাক্স অনলাইন রেডিও পোর্টাল হিসেবে 2014 সালে শুরু হয়। ঠিক এই সময়ে গত বছর আমরা আমাদের এফএম এর জার্নি শুরু করি। আপনারা আমাদেরকে শুনতে পাচ্ছেন রেডিও স্টেশন অ্যালাইভ 90.5 FM এ এবং ফেসবুক লাইভে। এখন থেকে প্রতি রবিবার আমরা সিডনি মেলবোর্ন টাইম বিকেল 5টা থেকে 7টা আপনাদের সাথেই থাকব। আমার শোগুলি হবে সোশ্যাল অ্যাওয়ারনেস বিল্ডিং টপিক নিয়ে ওয়ান্স এভরি কাপল অফ উইকস। তবে আমাদের আরজে শুভ থাকবে অল্টারনেট রবিবারগুলোতে ওর শো বাংলা ভাইবস, এবং আরজে এসমুন থাকছে এর পরের সপ্তাহগুলোতে ওর শো বং কানেকশনস নিয়ে। খুবই দুঃখের সাথে বলতে হচ্ছে এই ফেস্টিভ সিজনটা felt anything but festive due to so many reasons. Bushfires has been ravaging through our beautiful country, and we still got a long way to go before our drought-stricken land receives appropriate amount of rain. The important message amongst all the heartbreaking stats and news constantly showing up in our newsfeed is that this has been by far the most trying times of Australia in recent history. And what can be evident from all the good stories that also emerged amidst of all the chaos is no matter where you're from, what political party you support, everyone, and I say everyone united, has been showering those in need with food, water, resources, as well as monetarily. Gan Baksho acknowledges the Darug nation and people as traditional custodians of the land on which the Cumberland local government area is situated, and pays respect to Aboriginal elders, both past, present, and future. I also want to extend my respect for all those who lost their lives in recent bushfire tragedies. On behalf of whole Gan Baksho team, we want to say our heartfelt condolences to all the families mourning for the loss of their loved ones. If this was somehow missed, Gan Baksho and Alive 90.5 FM together has taken the initiative to donate 8,000 to 10,000 water bottles to disaster relief centers throughout the crisis. We have got an excellent response from our community so far, and are very thankful for whatever way you have contributed towards this great cause. Our aim is to reach as close to target by Friday this week. With no further ado, চলুন আমরা আমাদের শো শুরু করি। আজকের টপিক issues concerning Bangali migrant youth. It is important to identify that these issues are common amongst young people from other culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. However, we will focus on Bengali children specifically, as we have two young Bangladeshi professionals amongst us who are passionate about this subject, along with professional experience in working with the target group we are focusing on. আপনারা হয়তো জানেন 2019-এ আমাদের গান বাক্স লাইভ থেকে আমরা ইন্টারজেনারেশনাল and culture gap between migrant parents and their childrenের উপর ডেডিকেটেড একটা এপিসোড করেছিলাম। সেই এপিসোডে আমাদের সাথে ছিলেন অজয় দাশগুপ্ত এবং তার ছেলে অর্ক দাস। এছাড়াও আমাদের সঙ্গে ছিলেন মমতা চৌধুরী এবং তার মেয়ে সারা চৌধুরী। অনেক গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয় আমরা আলাপ করেছিলাম সেদিন। এই এপিসোডটি এখনও আপনারা চাইলে শুনতে পারেন। অ্যাভেলেবল আছে আমাদের গান বাক্স ওয়েবসাইটে, ফেসবুক পেজে এবং ইউটিউব চ্যানেলে। বিদেশে আমরা মাইগ্রেট করে চলে আসি উন্নত জীবনযাপনের আশায়, নিরাপত্তার আশায়, বাচ্চাদের উচ্চশিক্ষা, ভবিষ্যতের কথা ভেবে। আমাদের জীবন স্বাভাবিক ধারাবাহিকতায় চলতে যতটা সময় লাগবে বলে আমরা ধারণা করি, যা যা সমস্যার সম্মুখীন হতে হবে বলে আমাদের ধারণা থাকে, তার চেয়ে বেশি সময় অনেকেরই লেগে যায়। প্রথমেই আমরা নতুন সংস্কৃতিতে মানিয়ে নিতে সময় নেই, আত্মীয় স্বজনদের মিস করতে থাকি। তাছাড়া নতুন করে চাকরি খোঁজা, মন মতো চাকরি না পাওয়া, এছাড়াও এখানকার জব ফিল্ডের জন্য নিজেকে তৈরি করতে বেশ খানিকটা সময় লেগে যায়। চিন্তা করুন তো, ধরুন আপনি আপনার বাচ্চাদের নিয়ে দেশ থেকে বিদেশে মাইগ্রেট করেছেন। নতুন দেশে ভালো থাকবেন এই আশাতেই নিশ্চয়ই এই লম্বা পথ পাড়ি দেয়া, কিন্তু এখানে এসে কিছুই ভালো লাগছে না। সবকিছু বুঝে উঠতে অনেক বেশি সময় লেগে যাচ্ছে। এরই মধ্যে বাচ্চাদের নতুন স্কুলে, পশ্চিমা সংস্কৃতিতে নতুন পরিবেশে বেড়ে ওঠার ভালো মন্দটাও আপনাকে ভাবাচ্ছে, এবং সত্যিকার অর্থে ভাবার সময়টুকু হয়তো আপনি পেয়ে উঠছেন না। এই সময়টা আপনার বাচ্চার ভিতরে কি চলতে পারে বলে আপনার মনে হয়? বাচ্চারাও কিন্তু মা বাবার ফ্রাস্ট্রেশন ফিল করে, মন খারাপ ফিল করে, নিজেদের কষ্ট, দুঃখ, চ্যালেঞ্জ নিয়ে কথা বলে বাবা মাকে আরো দুশ্চিন্তাগ্রস্ত করতে চায় না তারা। এইবার ভাবুন তো, বয়ঃসন্ধিকাল, এখানে যেটাকে টিনেজ বলা হয়ে থাকে, এই সময় বাচ্চাদের বিভিন্ন হরমোনাল চেঞ্জ হয়, ফলে ইমোশনাল সাপোর্ট দরকার হয়। এমনিতেই এই সময়টা খুবই কনফিউজিং। তার মধ্যে নতুন দেশে এসে কোনো রকমের সেটেলড কিংবা আনসেটেলড প্যারেন্টসদের প্রায়োরিটি লিস্টে বাচ্চাদের দৈনন্দিন সমস্যা বা বেড়ে ওঠার সময় কী কী সাপোর্ট প্রয়োজন, এই কথাগুলো মাথা থেকে বেরিয়ে যেতেই পারে। কিন্তু এই সময়টা অনেক ক্রুশাল, এবং কেন এত ক্রুশাল সেটা জানার জন্যই আজকের এই এপিসোড। প্রথমেই এটা বলে নিই, আজকের এপিসোডের গেস্ট স্পিকাররা আমার ছোট ভাই বোনেরই মতো। ওদের পারমিশন নিয়েই ওদের আমি তুমি বলে সম্বোধন করছি। দ্বিতীয়ত, এখানে জন্ম ও বেড়ে ওঠার ফলে বাংলা ওদের প্রাইমারি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ নয়। তবে এই এপিসোডটা বাবা মা এবং টিনের ছেলে মেয়েদের জন্য ইকুয়ালি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। আমাদের বাচ্চাদের জন্য যদি আমরা উপস্থিত থেকে ওদের সাহায্য করতে চাই, ওদের বুঝতে চাই, তাহলে ওরা যেই ভাষাতে স্বাচ্ছন্দ্য বোধ করে সেটাকেই আমাদের বুঝতে চেষ্টা করা উচিত। পরিচয় করিয়ে দিচ্ছি আমাদের দুজন গেস্ট স্পিকারের সাথে। প্রথমেই পরিচয় করিয়ে দিচ্ছি দিলির আলী। দিলির is a young man of Bangladeshi descent who has always been passionate about empowering diverse voices. Dilir completed his HSC from Normanhurst Boys Selective High School in year 2015 and was recipient of Principal Award of Academic Excellence for being second in year 12. Currently studying international studies and laws at the University of Sydney, he has founded a non-profit organization known as Bright Spark International, providing educational materials to Bangladesh and Papua New Guinea, worked as Youth Transition Support Officer at CMRC, and is part of Diversity Committee at PwC. Dilir is also co-founder of the POKE Initiative, where he is the Director of Operations. In his spare time, he regularly performs at Bankstown Poetry Slam and enjoys writing historical fiction set in Imperial China. Welcome.
Welcome, it's really good to be here.
এরপরেই পরিচয় করে দিচ্ছি তন্নি। Tonni Ahmed was born and brought up in the inner east of Sydney with her family. Tonni completed her HSC from Randwick Girls High School in year 2015 as well. Tonni has experience in peer mentoring at Women's Justice Network, as well as experienced as casework student at Asylum Seekers Center. Provided with opportunities that came at her parents' decision to leave their home behind in Bangladesh, Tonni was inspired to study social work at UNSW to be able to support other minority groups, and is now working with youth at Southeastern Community Connect, a local community organization that aims to support and mentor individuals to become increasingly independent. Currently, Tonni is also a community visitor volunteer at Villawood Detention Center since 2017. Tonni aims to be able to use her personal experience to give back to her community for greater change. তোমাকেও অনেক অনেক ওয়েলকাম এন্ড থ্যাংক ইউ ফর বিং হিয়ার। এতক্ষণ আমার কথার মাঝখানে আমাদেরকে বোর করলাম, বাট আর দেরি করছি না, আমরা সোজাসুজি ডিসকাশনে চলে যাচ্ছি। আজকে আমার কাছে বেশ কিছু সেট অফ কোয়েশ্চেন আছে, বাট এগুলোকে কোয়েশ্চেনের মতো না নিয়ে আমরা যদি একটা আলাপের মধ্যে চলে যেতে পারি, দ্যাট উড বি গ্রেট। সো প্রথমেই আমি বেসিক্যালি শুরু করতে চাচ্ছি তোমাদের দুজনকেই এই প্রশ্নটা। You've both worked with young people. What were some of your key learning from your roles? এবং তুমি শুরু করো।
Okay. Well, আমি বেশি দিনের জন্য young people এর সাথে কাজ করতেছি না. I think it's only been maybe a year and a half.
Okay.
So আমার মনে হয় আমার still অনেক কিছু আছে শিখতে. But I think young people don't get enough credit. Like আমরা যেটা মনে করি like তোমার বয়স কম, তুমি বেশি কিছু একটা বুঝো না, জানো না. As you get older you'll understand why we're doing this and why we're trying to protect you from that. But something that you mentioned when we started the show, a lot of young people understand what their families are going through. They understand the changes that are going around them, and I think maybe as a community, as a society, I don't know what it is, but we look at young people and we're like, oh no, you don't understand, and that sets them up to a bit of a failure. You know, they start doubting themselves, and I think that's where a lot of the issues that I've seen and a lot of the issues that we've been working with stem from, that we've been disempowering them from a young age based on...
When you say we, is that you mean the parents, the community, everything as a whole, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it comes from different areas of life, you know, like I know something I heard when I was growing up a lot is, you know, when you enter the real world, you'll understand, or like, you know, ek shomoy tomar shomoy ashbe, and then tumi bujhba, like, you know, why we didn't do this and that. And I think, what does the real world mean? Like, am I not in it already? Am I not alive and experiencing things? So I think there are different dynamics in your family, in your friends, in, you know, school, and then your first job. Like, there are different trials that you go through, but each of them come with a little bit of a like pessimistic view of what stage young people are at. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess তোমার কথা থেকে যেটা আমি বুঝতে পারছি সেটা হচ্ছে একটা ফ্রাস্ট্রেশনও কাজ করে সব ইয়াং পিপলদের মধ্যেই, যে আমি যতখানি না বুঝবো, আমার বাবা মা সেটা মনে করে, বা যারা আমার সাথে এভাবে কথা বলছে যে আমি এখনো বুঝি না, আমাকে ওই ক্রেডিটটা দিতে চাচ্ছে না যে আমি কতখানি আরো বুঝতে পারি, আমাকে যদি বোঝানো হয় আমি কেন পারবো না, বা ইউ নো। দিলের
in my time in the sector আমি তিনটে জিনিস মেইনলি শিখছি। প্রথমে young people take on a lot of responsibilities and expectations from their parents. That could be academic, obviously. I think as Bangladeshi youth, that's one of the key things that is really reinforced in us from our communities and our parents. But also often financial stresses, social stresses that parents might be trying to hide from their children, but does bleed into expectations, such as an expectation to get a job while you're still studying so that you can help pay for groceries and Okum Jinish. The second Jinish I would say is young people often depend on social networks because they're very vulnerable at that time. And the support networks they have around them, it's mainly in their schools and the peers that they have around them at that time. And sometimes they don't feel comfortable to go to their parents and talk to their parents about the issues they're having because they don't want to burden them, or often parents don't have the vocabulary to understand sometimes what this problem is, you know, what is depression, anxiety. You know, I think I know what it means, but does that mean the same thing to you? So there's a miscommunication happening at an intergenerational level that happens because young people have to depend on their peers and support network at school a lot more. And lastly, I think the key thing is a lot of young people don't know what resources are out there, where they can reach out to, who they can talk to about any issues they're facing. And I think community organizations that we've worked for in the past, community organizations like Anbaksho and all of these, as well as schools, as well as parents in the community at large, they all really help support young people, and young people should be feeling comfortable to reach out to those when they need it.
That's well said. So basically আমি যেটা বুঝলাম তোমার কথা থেকে সেটা হচ্ছে অনেক কিছুই ইজ এ বিট অফ আ ব্লার, যেহেতু সঠিক টাইমে সঠিক সাপোর্টটা ওরা পাচ্ছে না টিনেজাররা। সো তোমাদের ফিল্ডে যে যখন তোমরা কাজ করো, তুমি যে বলছিলে সাউথ ইস্টার্ন কমিউনিটি কানেক্ট, you work with age bracket 12 to 24. Is it only the young people, or do you also get to work with their parents as well?
Yeah, so I think that's been something that we're trying to do more of. When I first started working there, a lot of young people didn't trust our organization and the services that we were providing, and you know, of course, like teenagers are very like careful. That like we used to provide a free barbecue every weekend, and they'd be like, "Why are you giving out free food? Like that can't be right." So I think a big part of that is there isn't a lot of communication between the parents and young people as well. There isn't this transfer of information that there's this new service around, and you know, maybe if my parents go and meet with the youth workers there, then they can understand what's happening a little bit better. So I think we've definitely acknowledged in our work that we need to be working with everyone who's involved in a young person's life, and I think that does of course begin with teenagers, but you know, we have to acknowledge that they don't have a lot of control in their lives at this point in time either. So yeah, working with parents, working with schools, working with other services that they might be interested in has been really important. So
okay, সবাইকে বলে রাখি যে আমি a bit of a devil's advocate play করছি আজকে। আমি এখানে বেশ কম বয়সে চলে আসি, আমার বয়স তখন মাত্র 13। সো আমি এই জিনিসটার উপর দিয়ে গো থ্রু করেছি, এবং তোমাদের এখানে জন্ম আই বিলিভ, রাইট? সো তোমাদের এক্সপিরিয়েন্সটা আরেকটু ডিফারেন্ট। তোমরা যাদেরকে নিয়ে কাজ করো তারা কি মোস্টলি নিউলি অ্যারাইভড, অর এখানে জন্ম, তাদের সাথেও কাজ করতে হয় অনেক সময়?
বেশিরভাগ newly arrived in the last 2 to 3 years or up to 5 years. There is always a mix, and actually one thing I've noticed is it doesn't matter how long you've been here by years. It doesn't matter which community you're from, say a Sudanese community versus Bangladeshi community. It doesn't matter which suburb you're living in. I know Tonni works in East Lakes, Mascot area. I worked in Western Sydney, Parramatta area. The concerns are very similar across the board. Obviously, ek loke individual concerns are the broad trends, the education issues, social issues, anxieties and mental health issues. Doesn't matter where you're from, they all impact you, know.
ইয়াং জেনারেশনের মধ্যে কি এই জিনিসটা খুব কাজ করে যখন ওরা সাপোর্ট নেটওয়ার্ক খুঁজেও পায়? অনেক সময় ডিসক্রিট থাকার চেষ্টা, যে বাবা মাকে হয়তো আমি একটু বললাম না কারণ ওরা বুঝবে না, যে এই জিনিসটা প্যারেন্টসদের ক্ষেত্রেও হয়, যে ওরা মনে করে এখনো বড় হয়নি, এখনো রিয়েল ওয়ার্ল্ড এন্টার করেনি, যেটা তুমি বলছিলে তন্নি। বাচ্চাদের মধ্যেও নিশ্চয়ই এটা কাজ করে টু সার্টেন এক্সটেন্ট, যে বাবা মা বুঝবে না কেন আমার হেল্পটা দরকার। Have you seen anything like that?
Definitely. I think firstly with the friends, which I think is the main support network most people go to, a lot of the time baba ma, they don't know who your friends are, or they might know acta naam duita naam, but they don't actually know who they are and what type of people they are, and so often it's very difficult to learn that, karan you're so separated from that side of your child, and you're busy working all the time, and kaj ase bashay kaj ase shob kichu ase. So one thing I would say is that it's really important for parents to try and learn who are your children's friends, what type of people are they, what community do they run in, karan that shapes so much of their life. If they're in friends who aren't supportive, or get up to dushtumi and okumli, that's going to have an impact on your child as well. And I think it's very important to have an eye and communicate, ask questions, be open and accepting of who the friends are, but also be aware of who those people are.
Yeah, I think also to add on to that, there's a lot of the young people that I've worked with, they don't tell their parents that they're working with me or other services, especially if they're going to therapy. And I think there's this sense of shame in our community, or amongst families, where it's like তোমার বাসা আছে, তোমার খাবার আছে, like what else do you need? Like why do you have to go to therapy? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think I've definitely experienced that where you know, if I'm going in for an intake meeting and I'm meeting with a client for the first time and I ask, do your parents know about this? Do you want me to contact them? They're like, no, they don't understand. They don't really know. And I think that's a shame because it's not, a lot of the work that we do, it's not only about the young person benefiting, but it's about building rapport and relationships amongst the family. But yeah, there's this huge cultural stigma that like whether you're Bangladeshi or, you know, you grew up here, there's this huge stigma around getting professional help, and I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure out how you can combat that on a day-to-day basis. It's existed for such a long time
Right.
in our
And that
society.
makes the whole journey a lot more difficult because যখন এই হেল্পটা ওরা নিচ্ছে তখন বাবা মার থেকেও যদি হেল্পটা পায় তখন it is like a double force working towards betterment or reaching a solution যেখানে কিনা they're doing it all on their own, they feel pretty lonely out there. আমি এই জিনিসটা নিয়ে আসলে আর একটু ডিটেলসে কথা বলবো। আমি সবাইকে আসলে এক্সটেন্ড করতে চাই এই ইনভাইটটা যে প্লিজ ফিল ফ্রি টু রাইট কমেন্টস, আস্ক এনি কোয়েশ্চেন্স টু আওয়ার গেস্ট স্পিকার্স। আমরা এখানে 7টা পর্যন্ত আছি, অ্যাজ ওয়েল অ্যাজ আপনাদের প্রশ্ন যদি আপনারা লাইভে নাও করেন, পরবর্তীতে করলেও আমি শিওর দিলির এবং তন্নি এটা অ্যাটেন্ড করতে পারবে। সো আমি এরপরের প্রশ্নটা করছি হচ্ছে কি মেজর ইস্যুস that are concerning migrant youth. As a Bangladeshi Australian youth yourselves, do you think some concerns are valid for migrant Bangladeshi youths only, or is it across board?
Well, like I said before, I think it is generally across the board, but some trends you see a lot more in the Bangladeshi community. I think, like I touched on earlier, education is so important to us as a community, and it makes perfect sense. Because I'm a migrant, Ashti country, we want to make the most of the opportunity that was given by our parents for making that sacrifice coming here. We want to have the best school, lead to the best university, best workplace and occupation, and have the most stability in our future as well. But I think a key issue is a disconnect in culture between this mentality of, you know, doctor hote hobe, lawyer hote hobe, you know, accountant, versus what bachelor actually want to be and where their passion lies. And you know, there needs to be a communication there. Apart from
এটা কি এথনিক কমিউনিটিতে একটু বেশি দেখা যায় বলে তোমার মনে হয়?
definitely. Yeah.
I think so. I think it makes me think back to when I first started uni. So তখন আমি প্রথম শুরু করছি, I was doing law and I was like, yes, I'm gonna change the world and be a lawyer. And like এক মাস পর I was like, this is not what I want to do at all. But when I spoke to my family about it, and I was like, you know, I think I want to go into social work, and you know, the work that we do in social work is so much more connected and grounded, and you get to have that interaction with the communities that we're actually working with. I think for a very long time my family, although they supported me and they were like, okay, it's your career, you're gonna have to, you know, deal with the paycheck, so you do what you want to do. They didn't understand it, and it's what you said where you know, this idea of what we want to do with our careers and what we want for our lives is very different to what our parents grew up with, you know, growing up. Like both my both my parents, they work jobs that bring in the money and they pay the bills and the groceries, and that's the ultimate goal of it. And I think this idea like, oh, I want to do a job that sustains me and sustains my, you know, personality and, you know, my own kind of goals and dreams is very foreign. I think we're still trying to like, I think it's becoming a little bit easier in my family. I can't, you know, speak about the whole community, but, you know, they understand now that, oh, acha, you know, like you can do this with it and you can also be stable and be happy with the job as well. Yeah, but I think there are other things in like our community that we struggle with that
what I'm hearing, is it more like a status thing? যে লতে চান্স পাওয়া, obviously এখানের এডুকেশন সিস্টেমের সাথে যারা ফ্যামিলিয়ার তারা জানবেন যে সবাই চান্স পায় না, and you need to have a certain amount of ATAR. When we were doing HSC, it was called UAI. So now it's ATAR. So you have to have a certain amount of ATAR to get into law, and then from there you're coming down to, I mean, they think it's like a downgrade, to a certain extent. I'm not talking about your parents as such, but like they are concerned in genuinely about where the future is and where you headed and stuff like that. আরেকটা প্রেশার যেটা কাজ করে যে 99.something হতে হবে, 100% পেতে হবে, আর এই জিনিসটা বাচ্চাদের মধ্যে কতখানি প্রেশার ক্রিয়েট করে, এবং এটা কি তোমরা ফার্স্ট হ্যান্ড এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করেছো when you're working with the youth? And also বাসার মধ্যে এই একটা সিচুয়েশন ক্রিয়েট করা যেটাতে parents are like, no, you're not really going to get anywhere in life, and given up hope on them because they may not have done that great in year 10, or their overall scores in year 11 hasn't been that well. So oi pressure oi time ta if you can focus on.
Well, I think that you have to think of why is that pressure there. I think you touched on it with the community expectations, a bhabhi ki bolbe, or comparing a cousin to that cousin, the different ranks, and obviously that plays on people's minds because it's a matter of pride. You invest so much in your child, you want them to do well and have success by the way you see it. But also I think it comes from what you grew up with and where you saw opportunities existing. In Bangladesh, it's very difficult to have stability without having one of those high paying jobs, doctor hoya, lawyer hoya. But here in Australia the context is very different. আমার একটা কাজিন আছে যে কেমব্রিজে গেল, ল পড়লো, ডাক্তার ম্যারি করলো, তারপরে আসলো and বললো আসলে I don't enjoy law, I have no enjoyment from it, it's killing my life, I want to be a firefighter. And now she's a firefighter and she's happier than ever and still as stable. Currently there's opportunities still exist to follow your passion, follow your dreams. And I can speak from experience of that pressure of the 99.95. I mean, I'm in law, so alhamdulillah, like I was one of the lucky ones who got a good ATAR. But that ATAR didn't mean anything because the way I got in wasn't through 99.5. It was by having a slightly lower ATAR and then transferring in later on. And that pathway, so many people do it because it's a more healthy pathway, a more stable pathway. And a lot of people just don't know that there are other ways to get into the job you want and the career you want. And you should explore all your options rather than focusing on actor number.
On that note, healthy pathway যখন তুমি বললে, তোমার কি মনে হয় সব স্কুল, you can probably only speak about your school in specific, but যেহেতু ইউথদেরকে নিয়ে কাজ করছো, do you think they prepared the kids enough for university?
Absolutely not.
I felt like that 10 years back because I did my HSC 2005. I felt like the schools did not prepare me for university. So it's still the same, like 10 years later. That's quite alarming. এবং বাবা মাদের এই জিনিসটা কতখানি তারা বোঝেন কিংবা কমিউনিটি কতখানি বোঝেন, এটাও একটা বিষয়। বিকজ ওদের অবভিয়াসলি একটা ইচ্ছা থাকে যে সরাসরি ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ঢুকে যাবে, পাথওয়েজ ফলো করছে, এই জিনিসটা ওরা বুঝে, কনসেপ্টটা অনেক সময় বুঝে উঠতে পারে না। সো এই গ্যাপগুলো হাউ ডু ইউ থিঙ্ক ক্যান বি মিটিগেটেড?
I think like a lot of the schools that I've been working with, they're identifying this shift in the changes and the pathways, and they're bringing in TAFE more, and it's been great. There's been like seminars for year 10 to year 11, and there's been much more kind of talk around those pathways, I suppose. But I think it's not enough to let young people know about it, because I think it creates, if anything, this disagreement between families, someone will come home one day and be like, oh, I don't have to go to uni, I can go to TAFE and then I can do this and then I can go to uni. But like ma baba na janle that you can do that, and that is just as viable as going to university straight or whatever it is. they're gonna be like, what are you doing with your life? Like, you know, তোমার like সংসার and career, everything like নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে. That information isn't being transferred to them. And I think just as you have parent-teacher nights and just as you have, you know, like open day and all these things that create visibility for all the other opportunities that exist, parents and services and other people who are involved need to be just as involved then as well.
I would also add to that, where do most parents get their information from about how to go to university? It's not from the schools or community workers, it's from other parents in the community, you know, learning from their experiences and what they've picked up. And I think if you are in the Bangladeshi community, there is often a pressure of the 99.95 because that's what parents know and that's what they tell everyone else.
Right.
So I think there needs to be more, you know, community-focused advocacy inside the community. Parents talking to parents saying, you know, there are 10 different pathways into medicine if you want to go into it, but always know why do you want to go into it. And, you know, having those conversations tomorrow when they're going through the same issues you went through a couple of years ago, that's far more healthy for the children because, you know, then the parents actually have a better understanding and trust the information as well, rather than just, oh, I'm able to say it's all good, I don't really trust it, you know.
না ওইখানে আমি মনে করি যেটা তুমি বলছো, বাবা মার অনেক সময় যেহেতু অন্য বাবা মার সাথে কথা বলার টেন্ডেন্সিটা থাকে, ইনস্টেড অফ টকিং টু প্যারেন্টস, তোমার আগে কেউ পাশ করে বেরিয়েছে এরকম বাচ্চাদের সাথেও কথা বলতে পারে. Tara would know, I think, would be able to give more accurate information to the questions the parents have compared to the parents.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right?
Definitely,
and
yeah.
they're more up to date with all the changes that are happening. And every year there are changes. School system and everything. So, দর্শক আপনারা শুনছেন গান বাক্স লাইভ 90.5 FM. আমাদেরকে শোনা যাচ্ছে FM এ, আমাদের ওয়েবসাইট ganbaksho.com.au এবং যে কোনো রেডিও পোর্টাল থেকে। একই সাথে আমাদের দেখতে পাচ্ছেন ফেসবুক লাইভে। এছাড়াও আমাদের প্রত্যেকটি এপিসোড পডকাস্ট আকারে শুনতে পাবেন অ্যাপল পডকাস্ট, গুগল পডকাস্ট, স্পটিফাই, আইহার্ট রেডিও এবং টিউন রেডিওতে। গান বাক্সের যে কোনো আপডেট পেতে আমাদের ফেসবুক পেজে সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন। আপনাদের যে কোনো মন্তব্য মতামত শেয়ার করুন আমাদের লাইভ ভিডিওর কমেন্ট সেকশনে অথবা মেসেঞ্জারে। সো মুভিং অন, কিছু ইস্যুস নিয়ে আমি বলি, যেমন it could be domestic violence at home, it could be just unrest from কথা কাটাকাটি, normal day to day commotion people have. এই ইস্যুসগুলোর ইম্প্যাক্ট বাচ্চাদের উপর কিভাবে পড়ে এবং এটা তোমাদের এক্সপিরিয়েন্সে কিরকম এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করছো তোমরা?
Well, like আগে বলছি, like বাচ্চারা অনেক স্মার্ট. I think we don't give them enough credit. আর এরকম ছোট জিনিস they will pick up on, like, you know, even scientifically we did so many university courses on how, like, childhood development contributes to adulthood, and there's so much trauma that you still have to recover from as you're growing older. And I think, I don't know, like, I think amra bujhina like just how much young people are picking up. So, you know, kotha katakati, like ekdin she orukom kotha bolbe, whether it's to her friends or her partner, or, you know, most often we see that, like, bachcha tader ma babar sathe ebhabe kotha bole once they turn, like, you know, 12, 13, and tapor amra chinta kori কোথার থেকে শিখছে, like, who are their friends, who they hang out with, and it's like আমরা ওভাবে ব্যবহার করছিলাম when আমরা মনে করছি যে তারা বুঝতেছে না. So I think definitely something that we learn in social work is all social work starts at home, and it starts, you know, with, and home meaning, like, yes, of course, your family, your friends, but also in your office. And if you can't practice what you preach, there's no point going out to someone else and being their savior. So I think ওখানে আমাদের শুরু করতে হবে, আমাদের নিজের দিকে তাকাইতে হবে, চিন্তা করতে হবে, like, am I a good role model for my child, for my client, whoever it is, and then keep going from there. Because a lot of things were just like, oh Allah, আমি আমার মার মতন হয়ে গেছি, like I never expected that, you know. So that's what I think.
Is there any case studies, anything that you can think of it as an experience?
So I worked previously with that young boy called Namchil Murtaza, and in his home life there was a lot of, you know, fighting and maybe not domestic violence per se, but a lot of commotion, and he never felt safe at home. And he was in high school, and that's a time where there's so much different stresses coming on you from school, from your friends, from all the hormones that are going through your body and everything. So the fact that he didn't feel safe at home meant, he felt financial pressure from his parents, he felt social pressure from his parents. He didn't really know where to turn to, right? And so what ended up happening with Murtaz is because he didn't feel safe at home and he didn't have that support network there, he went to school, and then he also felt really disengaged from school. He didn't really care about the teachers or the authority figures there because they're all they don't understand me, they don't know what I'm going through. And so he turns to friends who are in similar situations, but often those friends, if they're their only support network and they're also dealing with ilkum issues, they can lead to a negative spiral in that group, and it can lead to very toxic things. And actually that young man, he ended up committing crimes and almost dropping out of school because he was so disenfranchised by the authority figures at home and the authority figures at school.
তুমি কি ধরনের ক্রাইমের কথা বলছো?
Nothing too big. In petty crimes, drugs, drug dealing, and robbing from local stores and all. And it was a situation that when we were introduced to him, we felt it was kind of at a crossroads. Either he would be able to sort of leave those toxic friends groups and find a path forward for himself, or he would spiral more further deep into that negative path. And so the way in which we sort of intervened, I would say, is we talked to him and found out, what are you passionate about? What drives you? And he said, school, I don't understand. It's all these things. And he doesn't speak very good English, so it was very difficult for him as well.
Okay.
Family life, I don't really get either. And my parents want me to be a mechanic or something. But he said, I want to be an actor. I want to be a model. So, what we did was we listened to that, and we found him a modeling course at TAFE and a filmmaking course. And so he's enrolled into that, and we practiced doing modeling and filmmaking and all programs that we enrolled him in. And since then, he's found a new set of group friends, at TAFE, at these
who are positive
who are doing something positive for their life, and that passion that they all share makes him more passionate and gives him more drive to do better in life. And I think when there's situations like domestic violence or you need to have a positive outlet in which you can direct that energy.
Right. I guess বাসার সিচুয়েশন চেঞ্জ না করেও বাচ্চাদের in terms of যারা বাচ্চাদের সাথে কাজ করছে, ইউথদের সাথে কাজ করছে, তারা not necessarily getting involved with the family can also make differences. That's what you're saying. By just redirecting them, just being that person who is there to listen to them. কারণ ওই সঠিক অ্যাডভাইসটা দেওয়ার ওই মুহূর্তে ওদের কেউ ছিল না, হয়তো স্কুলের টিচারদের কাছেও রিচ আউট করাটা সেফ ফিল করেনি, বিকজ obviously there is that mandatory reporting stuff as well. There is also the authoritarian thing হয়ে যায় যে টিচার আমার থেকে অনেক বয়সে বড়,
বকা দেবে, কি বলবে,
জাজমেন্ট and all that. So তন্নি, তোমার সাথে যখন আমি আগে কথা বলেছি, I guess you mentioned about the impact of internet and how that has been a big factor in how people are spiraling as well. Like young people are getting influenced. If you could
definitely, I think
share some experience.
I mean, where do you start with the internet? It's so big. I think there's definitely been positive things, like there's been a lot of clients that I've had, and even personal experiences where just being able to Google search, like, am I going crazy, or like simple things, and being able to connect with another kind of community is really impactful to someone's well-being. But I think there's always a dark side, and that's where a lot of the issues come from. And I think something that we struggle with is this hyper growth of young people now because of Instagram and Twitter, and they're being exposed to things that we can't really control. So, simple example is I have this one client at work who she comes into, you know, a cooking class dressed like she's gonna go to Ivy on a Friday night.
Wow.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, do you have any plans on tonight? And what's going on? And she's like, oh, well, I just watched this makeup tutorial and they do it like this and do it like that. But after, you know, we work together for a while and we unpack it, and there's a lot of insecurity underneath it. There's a lot of body shaming that she experienced at school and from her own family. So yes, of course, the makeup and the clothes is a great escape for her and a almost a coping mechanism. But also there's no one dealing with the fact that there is this community online who's telling her, yeah, you can just wear all the makeup that you want and that will fix all your issues, you know. So trying to moderate that, trying to be able to have a balanced approach to the internet and what you're exposed to is really hard. And I think often it's like an enabling mechanism where you can get away with anything and it's okay. But then when you're living on a day-to-day, like, she feels still very sad that she has to spend, you know, 30 minutes to do her makeup, like. And it's not as simple as saying, oh, but you're beautiful the way you are, don't worry about it, you know. It's so ingrained in her. Yeah, it's almost like living a double life, you know. So I think we don't have enough of a grip on the internet and how we can have a healthy approach to it. A lot of people are like, oh, just use, you know, block sites and have a computer in the main living room and then that's fine. You can just control what they see. But it's everywhere. You go to school and they like, I know in year 10 I got a laptop from school and I was like, oh, I'm very cool now. I can like play games in class and I don't have to concentrate. But you know, we live in a society where there's always like a new iPhone coming out. There's something new all the time.
Yeah.
And it's very accessible. But
And
how
not
do you
all the parents are putting in parental control. And,
yeah, absolutely.
you know.
Like, I didn't have any idea about parental control when I was growing up. I was just like, oh, I can do what I want and it's fine. But I think we grew up in a society, like, I think we can all relate that a lot of the things that we're seeing today, it wasn't, you know, very obvious. I didn't start wearing makeup until I was like 17. So, you know, I think, how do you find this balance between being relevant and using all, you know, the technology that helps us live a better life today, but also being safe and not, you know, allowing young people to fall into this web of like behaviors that is really unhealthy and dangerous and scary. Like, yeah.
How big is this body shaming in our community? I really want to stress on this. বিশেষ করে হঠাৎ করে একটা দাওয়াতে গিয়ে আন্টি বলে ফেললো, ও মাই গড, তুমি তো অনেক ওয়েট গেইন করে ফেলছো, ও তোমাকে অনেক শুকনা লাগতেছে। আমি জানি না, লাইক, ওয়েট নিয়ে কোনো না কোনো একটা কমেন্ট কোথা থেকে চলে আসে,
সবসময় আসে।
and that self-image that you were talking about and the whole impact of that, the severity of it, if you could elaborate, like, from your experience. ছেলেদের মধ্যেও হয়তো হয় to certain extent, but I guess মেয়েদের মধ্যে একটু বেশি।
মেয়েদের মধ্যে হয় বেশি, কিন্তু I would also say one thing I find endlessly funny about Tamil community is that you know, if there's Twitter people in an actor group who have the same name, say Twitter Raju ase, I thought you Raju, uno hoche Muta Raju, right? The way in which you pick on actor personal trait and attack it and attach it to their identity actually is very unhealthy. It's something, it's just, you know, it's how we do, it's a status quo, and there's things you have to sort of unpack in that.
ওরা হেসে উড়িয়ে দিচ্ছে, কিন্তু যাকে নিয়ে বলা হচ্ছে, that person might not find it entertaining at all, or you know, it's just degrading them to.
Even if they're laughing as well, oh, it's just a joke. Jokun, it happens once, twice, 100 times in, you know, a week, then it really impacts their psyche, and you know, it becomes internalized. And a lot of people, you know, had that growing up, you know, commenting on the weight all the time. They actually are more likely to have overweight or develop eating disorders like bulimia, anorexia. And now with Chela, they're bigorexia, which is, you know, trying to be as muscle manny as possible. And that's a sort of defense mechanism internally where they still feel like, oh, even though I'm not everyone, that idea of ami mota hoy gesi, ami mota hoy jabo, that fear is so deeply ingrained in them that they turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms as a result.
Definitely.
আর মেয়েদের ক্ষেত্রে কি হয়?
অ্যানোরেক্সিয়া নিয়ে তুমি বললা
Yeah,
যে
definitely. I think like আমাদের community, it's really subtle, like the kind of discrimination that you get, and I think it's about everything. Like, তুমি বেশি শুকনো হয়ে গেছো, like you know, তোমার গায়ে কোনো like মাংস নাই, like তোমার মা কি তোমাকে খাওয়ায় না? Like these are things that I've heard, you know.
very painful questions.
Yeah, or like you know, I know someone who has been like skinny their entire life, and it's just their natural state, like very healthy people, but they're just shukna. Like I don't know
their
what to tell you.
metabolism is like that.
Yeah, like lucky you, you're 40 and you still look like you're like 18. That's great. But you know, like all the dawats that we go to, arektu khao, like arektu no, you know, tomake biya korbe ke. Like there's all these little
wow
like
yeah
and then on the flip side, of course, there's you know, Bangladesh is really interesting. Amader shastro mederke pochondo hoy, so like if you have a little bit more meat on you,
voluptuous
Yes.
figure, yes,
and like which is concerning karan amader diet, like the way that we're gaining these voluptuous figures is not very healthy at all. Like you know, সকালে parota আর মাংস খায়, তারপর বিকালে আবার ভাত খাবো, and then রাত্রে আবার ভাত, and then straight away ঘুমাইতে যাবো. Like that's not a very healthy way to gain weight.
Right.
কিন্তু আমরা চিন্তা করি, oh you look good, শাড়িতে সুন্দর দেখা যায়, so that's it, you know. কিন্তু on both sides, like I've met a lot of people jara tader pura jibon they've had to kind of unlearn that it's okay if they're a little bit skinnier, and like you know, oh ha amar pet beshi ekta moto na, but it's okay, I can still wear a sari, you know. And it's yeah, like amar mone hoy na we realize just how big the impact is.
yeah.
And it bleeds into other areas of our lives. So like,
Especially living in Australia,
Yeah.
because Bangali way of looking at beauty, মেয়েদের ক্ষেত্রে যদি voluptuous হয়ে থাকে, Australian way is quite opposite. You know,
Yeah.
the more skinny, the more toned you are, the better.
yeah,
So দুই জায়গায় নিজেকে খাপ খাওয়াতে it would be quite difficult.
yeah, absolutely.
So identity crisis একটা বিশাল বিষয় হয়ে দাঁড়ায়, I think. Where do you belong? And that's where বেশিরভাগ ক্ষেত্রে আমিও সোশ্যাল ওয়ার্কের সাথে যেহেতু মানে কাজ করি, এই জন্য মানে অনেকখানি মানে এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করেছি, সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে there is this door syndrome, যে বাসার ভিতরে আমি একটা পার্সন, বাসার বাইরে আমি আরেকটা পার্সন, এবং অন্যদের সাথে যারা আমাদের কমিউনিটির না তাদের সাথে আমি একরকম বিহেভ করছি, আর আমাদের কমিউনিটির মধ্যে আমি অন্যরকম বিহেভ করছি। Have you had that type of experience
definitely.
as well?
Definitely. I think, you know, growing up in Australia and spending a lot of time in this society, you develop this sort of idea of, you know, do I fit in here or do I not? And unfortunately, I've been lucky to go back to Bangladesh quite often in my life. You know, I'm a family shot there. And when I do, I feel very much at home. But then, you know, as you could probably tell, my Bangla isn't very good. So I stick out like a sore thumb, and, you know, I'm taller than everyone else there and all this, you know, like, so I don't feel like I fit in quite there either. And so there's always a disconnect. And also I'd say, you know, I talked to my mother about this recently, and, you know, I told her, you know, I just always feel a bit like I'm an outsider. It doesn't matter if I'm here or there. Because she sacrificed so much to bring us here, you know, her and my father. Then when she heard me, she didn't really understand where I was coming from. She thought, why would it be an issue? You know, you haven't lost any jobs because of your skin color.
Okay.
You know, you have all these opportunities. And also, you know, when we came here in the 80s, you know, you couldn't even go down to Lakemba and there wasn't kushbu or anything like that. You couldn't have your favorite foods. Now you have all the opportunities. You can go wear Punjabi, and you can go be Western. You can do both. But I think that one thing people don't understand is, yes, you can do both, but you don't feel authentic doing either. And there's a sort of mismatch there, I think.
Yeah, I think like তখন আপনি প্রশ্নটা জিজ্ঞেস করছেন, I just thought about my name immediately. কারণ like I feel like by day I'm Tony, so like স্কুলে and কাজে সবসময় like কেউ নামটা like বলতে পারে না, like ওটা কি একটা ছেলের নাম, like you know, is it short for something? And I'm like, না, আমি আপনাকে কেমনে বুঝাবো যে it's just pronounced differently. কিন্তু তখন আমি আমার পরিবারের সাথে থাকি, না হলে you know in Bangladesh or দাওয়াতে যাই, then I'm Tonni automatically, and the two names, like it represents different like areas of my life, and yeah, how do you bring those two together and be like, no, I'm both, but just differently, you know? And it's interesting, like similar to Diller's mom, like my parents have been here for like over 20 something years. And amar ammu recently Bangladeshe gেছে, and তখন সে চলে আসছে, I'm like, oh, you know, তোমার দিন কেমন ছিল, like how did you find it? Do you want to just live there forever now? You won't have any children to take care of. You'll be with your mom. And she's like, you know, আমার দিনগুলি মনে হচ্ছিল যে চলতেছিল না, like it was so slow. And she's like, আমার মনে হয় যে আমি ওখানেও থাকতে পারতেছি না, কিন্তু এখানেও থাকতে পারতেছি না. Like when I'm here, I'm thinking about there. When I'm there, I'm like, oh my god, রাস্তাতে হাঁটতে পারতেছি না. Like, you know, মানুষ চিল্লাচ্ছে, like গাড়ি চলতেছে না ঠিক মতন. But this constant tug of war, it doesn't only exist in our generation, but from the first generation and the migrant community as well.
এখানে আমি একটা কথা বলতে চাই, সেটা হচ্ছে লাইক তুমি বললা তোমাদের স্ট্রাগলটা একটু ডিফারেন্ট, তোমরা এখানে born and brought up. যারা 3-4 বছর হয়েছে অস্ট্রেলিয়া এসছে, তারা অনেক সময় এখনো দেশ মিস করতেছে, right? And to certain extent a lot, because most of their families still over there, maybe immediate families here. তো ওই ক্ষেত্রে এখানে এসে একটা ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ব্যারিয়ার অনেক সময় কাজ করে, অনেক সময় করে না, অনেক সময় কিডস আর কোয়াইট অ্যাডাপ্টেবল এবং খুব তাড়াতাড়ি ক্যাচ আপ করে ফেলে, বাবা মার তুলনায় একটু তাড়াতাড়ি করে ফেলে. সো এখানেও একটা গ্যাপ হয়ে যায় যে বাবা মা অনেক সময় বুঝে উঠতে পারে না যে দে আর টেকিং মাচ লঙ্গার দেন দ্য কিডস আর. আবার এই মিস করার সময়টা how difficult can it be? Have you, because you said you've worked with people who have been here 2-3 years, and
I've worked with a lot of, you know, refugees as well, and people who've come very recently. I wasn't able to sort of go to their homes and speak to their parents as well as Tony was, but from what they told me, I think they definitely had a real sense of homesickness, and especially for refugees, ওদের বাসা কোনো নাই, you know, it's destroyed, it's rubble. That sense of loss and, you know, loss of who you are and loss of belonging, it's really deep within them and something that they struggle a lot with. Kinto I don't think that's something that ever really leaves you. And I want to know, আপনার experience কি ছিল? Because you came here when you were in year 7, so surely you would have had a good sense of that experience as well.
Well, yes, I thanks for asking me. Nobody has asked me a question in this like, you know, last 1 year that I've done you know, my shows, but thank you for asking. সেটা হচ্ছে আমার জন্য একটু quite interesting ছিল জিনিসটা. আমার দিদিমার সাথে আমি খুবই close, and she used to literally hand feed me until the time I came to Australia. So আমি নিজে হাতে খাইতেও জানতাম না. So Australia এসে first thing was কেন খেতে হবে, খাওয়ার was painful for me. It was a painful memory যে আমার দিদিমা আমার সাথে নাই. So nobody is there, nobody care. I used to tell myself কেউ কেয়ার করে না মনে হয়. And I don't know why I made myself believe that. I was just hurting myself by doing that, but it was like me missing her in my own way. Looking for all the comfort food, and ওগুলি দেখলে আরো I used to miss her more. I mean, we went every year, but it just never went away. And yeah, everything, your whole life turns upside down because you have a whole set of friends, and then you come and have a new set of friends. Even though আমার life I have changed 9 schools.
Wow.
So I've always made new friends. Making new friends not an issue, but Bangladeshi friendship and Australian friendships are very different. I don't know if you know, but Bangladeshira একটু বেশি close knit হয়, and they get into each other's lives a bit more.
Just a little bit.
Cousins you can maybe relate to. We're very close knit, and then all of a sudden all these cousins I've left behind. They used to know me since birth. মানে ছোটবেলার সব কথা ওদের সাথে আমি শেয়ার করছি. এখানে এসে there's no one there. There's that void of not having that person. So এখানকার peers, like, you know, they were there, but সব সময় যে আমাকে বুঝতে পারতেছে, আমার কষ্টটা বুঝতে পারছে, not necessarily. So that's where I have definitely felt very bad. And also there's this another aspect of it was bullying. So I was gonna get to that. how does bullying impact and how bullying টা মোটামুটি এখানের স্কুলে মাঝে মধ্যে হয় এখন ইনফ্যাক্ট বাঙালি বাবা মারা অনেক সচেতন they're sending their kids to martial arts and whatnot to be able to self-defend themselves but you know it is impact is not just physical it's overall like you know এবং cyberbullying is there স্কুলে যেগুলি হয় সেগুলি অনেক সময় বাবা মাকে এসে বলা যায় না আর বললে পরেও বাবা মা might not know কিভাবে ওটাকে ট্যাকল করতে হবে so in that case what are your experiences with young people?
I'd say that bullying it's not a fact of life but there's very little you can do to avoid it. Children are terrible, honestly. I can speak from experience as a child. Whatever difference there is between you, that's something that will be picked on, almost certainly. But there are ways in which you can sort of mitigate and ensure it doesn't become too bad. And I think the first thing to do is choosing the right community, the right school to send them to. It's not just about which school has the best ATAR and ranking. Think, what is the community at that school? Is it a diverse school where, onek Bangladeshi lokjon already ase? Or is it a school where the teachers actually care about their students and there's support networks to prevent issues from being too bad?
Yeah.
And secondly, ask your children, what is going on at school and try and just listen to them and non-judgmentally, talk about it and then also know what resources are there. So which teachers do they depend on and which teachers do they like? And also, who's the school counselor? How do you reach out to them? And if there is any issues of bullying, how can the school resolve that with you, And I think the first step is choosing the right school and the second step is listening to your child.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't get resolved and it goes on for far too long,
Yeah.
আমার মনে আছে যে year 7 এ যখন আসি that was my first year it was quite interesting because it's not we automatically think it's white Australians or something that are bullying the non-white Aussies but it was not the case I don't want to mention any specific race but it was not the case so ওরাও migrant যারা bully করছিল এবং it would be silly things like maybe some of my friends got bullied because of accent it would be around silly things like you don't shave your arms you're a girl you should be doing that like just the norm or like what's expected in Aussie culture এটার মধ্যে তুমি নাই কেন or silly things like that and then get called names like you're a karimancha or things like wog or fob especially refugee kids they hear that quite a lot এগুলি খুব degrading and makes you question your identity so in that case অনেক সময় যেটা হয়ে থাকে by the time I was in 9 I grew a very thick skin আমি knew every Aussie slang gully under the sun because কেউ আমাকে বলতে আসলে I would defend myself because I have been to school teachers principals like principal office বাইরে দাঁড়িয়ে ছিলাম মাকে বলছি nobody seemed to be able to do anything about it all they said is you have to stick up for yourself তোমাকে নিজেকে এটা deal করতে হবে and how do you deal with it you watch other people how they deal with it is offense is the best self-defense and so they become offensive so এই ইম্প্যাক্টটাও অনেক সময় বাবা মার সাথেও হয় যেটা হচ্ছে if you're doing that so often in school বাসায়ও দেখা গেল তোমার স্ল্যাং বের হয়ে গেল তারপর যে তুমি অভদ্র তুমি অসভ্য all that right so I guess বাবা মার এই ক্ষেত্রে অনেক সময় যে বোঝার জায়গাটা কেন আমার বাচ্চাটা এরকম করতেছে যে এরকম সিচুয়েশনে সে পড়েছে দেখেই নিশ্চয়ই সে এটা করছে বা এই কথাটা বলার মতো একটা সিচুয়েশন ক্রিয়েট করা বাসার মধ্যে যে সে লুকাবে না but she would rather come out to you and say things like that তো ওইটাই আর কি তুমি বলতে যাচ্ছিলে
yeah I think one thing I was going to point out like Diller said go to your parents and make sure you're listening like as a parent that you're listening to what they've got to say আমার যেটা মনে হয়, I've experienced this a lot as an older sister, as a older youth worker.
Yeah.
I'm not cool enough to understand what's going on at school. A lot of the time, I would sit down and I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on. Like, ki hocche, how can I help? They're like, tumi bujhba na. Like, you don't understand the trends. Like, culture ta ekhon onek different. So I think there's always going to be that intergenerational gap between us and them, and especially when you're at this age, like there's already been so many experiences where young people feel like they can't trust people older than them already because maybe like amar matha batha korchilo and then amar ammu boke dise like portso na ken, and that's enough to create this sense of distrust, like, oh, she's not going to help me,
she bujhtei chai na, so I'm not going to bother,
I'm not going to help.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going
explaining
to
myself.
Exactly. But I think something that's important for us to recognize is to be able to accept that, look, I might not understand, I might not actually be able to help you in this situation, but at least let me listen, at least let me be here, and that might be better than nothing. I think like অনেক বড় মানুষ, like adults are like, আমি সবকিছু জানি, I can help with everything, I've been through everything bad in the world, so I can solve your problems.
এবং তুমি যখন ওই প্রবলেমটা বললা, দেখা গেল এমন একটা সলিউশন দিল that is totally
It's like,
not gonna work.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
as a kid even you understand that it's not going to work, so তখনই you're like, okay, next time I'm not telling you my problems.
Yeah.
এই জিনিসটা চলে আসে। এখন বাবা মার এই জিনিসটা মনে করা যে বাচ্চারা বুঝবে না, বাচ্চাদের এই জিনিসটা মনে করা যে বাবা মা বুঝবে না, এইটার সলিউশনটা কি, এটা নিয়ে আমরা টুয়ার্ডস দ্য এন্ড আরো ডিসকাশনে যাব। আমি যেটা নিয়ে কথা বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম সেটা হচ্ছে কোপিং মেকানিজমস। এই ধরনের স্ট্রেস, পড়ালেখার প্রেশার, বাবা মার এক্সপেকটেশন, বাবা মার সাথে মিসকমিউনিকেশন গ্যাপ, কালচারাল হোক, ইন্টারজেনারেশনাল হোক, তারপরে হরমোনাল চেঞ্জেস বলো, এই সব কিছুর সাথে কোপিং মেকানিজম গুলো কি কি বাচ্চাদের?
Well, I think it depends on every child. Every person is different, and
Absolutely.
every person has something that does drive them. They have a passion that is how they release their energy in a positive way, and that could be something as simple as playing video games or playing soccer with your friends, or it could be something we think of as like sport or like something really
তোমার কোপিং
extracurricular.
মেকানিজম কি, সে ফর এক্সাম্পল?
আমারটা generally হচ্ছে poetry, কবিতা
Okay,
লেখা,
okay.
and I've been doing that since I was very young, and actually when I became a youth worker, I created a program which is a poetry workshop for different refugee and migrant youth.
Okay.
And there was one student who actually came into that, who was a young Somali girl who came in a year ago. She didn't have any language skills, and she was so afraid to communicate because she felt she doesn't know how to talk. She felt dumb because of that, that she would barely whisper when talking to you and wouldn't talk. Like in the first 3-4 weeks I was working with her, she didn't say a word to me. But over time, through this poetry workshop, we found এত সুন্দর কবিতা লিখতো আসলে, like mashallah, এত beautiful poetry about her homeland, about her feelings, everything like that, and that allowed her to grow confidence because she's putting this into a good, like putting all that energy and that stress about high school and parents and everything into a positive place. And then eventually, after a couple of months of her writing poetry, she started performing it and performed in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people through this program. And where she started and where she ended up, it's all, I think, because she had that confidence in her own ability, and she had the opportunity to pursue a passion of hers. And that healthy coping mechanism, it's so important for whatever it is.
And I would say she was very blessed to have a mentor like you, or like a person who was also doing and able to understand, because সবাই পারে না এটা বুঝতে, and so you have the ability and you're giving back like that to your community and other communities. That's amazing. আমি যেটা বলবো সেটা হচ্ছে যে এই কোপিং মেকানিজম নিয়ে অবভিয়াসলি অনেক ধরনের নেগেটিভ কোপিং মেকানিজমও আছে, সো তোমাদের এক্সপিরিয়েন্সে সেগুলি কি কি? বিকজ বাবা মাদের জানা থাকা দরকার, অ্যাজ ওয়েল এজ I'm sure যদি বাবা মারা তাদের বাচ্চাদেরকেও আজকে এটা শোনায়, it would be quite educational for them as well.
Yeah. I think like bad habits are really easy to begin. They're like যেটা আমি দেখছি অনেক ছোট জিনিস বড় হয়ে যায়, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, where did this addiction come from? And I think, yes, video games are great, but I've had many clients where they would sit for hours at the computer just staring into a screen, and it, you know, hurts their concentration, it hurts their
Why
academics.
do they do this? কেন ওরা
I
সারাক্ষণ escape খুঁজছে?
Honestly, it depends on the person, right? Like, it depends. Is it easier to sit in your room and just concentrate on the music and the screen instead of listening to the argument that's going on in the living room? Is it a way to not have to cope with the fact that you're socially isolated, you don't have friends to go out with? You know,
Many reasons.
Yeah, there's so much. And I think a lot of them, like, they all impact each other. There's so many things that it's like a butterfly effect. Because of this happened and that happened, and now I'm here. And I think there are some dangerous ones as well. You know, we've talked about anorexia and bulimia, and, you know, the self-harming of all different types. And it's very easy to get into that because we see it everywhere. And yeah,
এই
it's
সেলফ
scary.
হার্মিংটা নিয়ে কথা যদি বলি, আমাদের বাঙালিদের মধ্যে একটা টেন্ডেন্সি এটা খুবই থাকে, যে হাত কাটা, you know, and not necessarily to commit suicide, but just to numb the pain, or it's a avenue of like expressing yourself. যে আমার, I need attention, I need help, it's screaming out for some sort of communication that they're lacking with someone. So এটা কতখানি দেখছো তোমরা, বিশেষ করে বাঙালি কমিউনিটিতে যদি দেখে থাকো?
I think it's quite relevant. I think I've seen it quite a bit, especially like, you know, 12 to 16, it stays a lot. And again, it's like choto jinish initially, like maybe tumi ekটু আগুন দিয়ে খেলতেছো, and then you're like, oh, I just want to feel it on my skin, and then that slowly becomes something. Maybe it's like taking your dad's razor and, you know, let's try this out. But I think it's something that's very much misunderstood. A lot of people, what you said is correct, like often people are looking for that attention, they are looking for someone to be like, hey, what's going on? Because I think there was a study where, you know, they did this evidence-based kind of project, and a lot of the people who had admitted to self-harm, like I think it was 80% that said our intention wasn't suicide, it wasn't to actually get to a point where we can't go back, but it was communicating that we do need help and acknowledging that. কিন্তু আমার যেটা মনে হয়, like what I've seen in, you know, friends and the clients that I've worked with, and it happened a lot at the detention center. They would self-harm, and they're like, oh, it's suicide risk, but actually it's just like, get me out, really. অনেক মানুষ চিন্তা করে, yeah, exactly, it's that আমরা just মনে করি যে, oh, they're looking for attention, if we ignore it then they'll go away, because they realize that it's not working. কিন্তু actually I think that has the opposite effect, যে আমরা আরো করব until you realize that it's not a joke, it's not, you know, me just picking up like another habit until you realize.
I would say though, you know, this topic, it's quite a triggering topic to be discussing, and, you know, self-harm and suicide, they can be forms of escape, but also seen as that, but they come from a place where you feel very isolated. And I would say that if anyone is listening and has experienced this, or, you know, has any urges to experience it further, then please reach out to the relevant support mechanisms. You know, Lifeline is just one click away on Google.
Absolutely.
Reach out to professional help as well, because when you're facing these large issues, you know, any self-destructive behaviors in this way, it's very difficult to get yourself out of that hole. You need a healthy support network around you, you need friends, you need professionals, and
absolutely
that's the only way you can really get help to be better yourself.
I was going to mention it's very interlinked with mental health, কিন্তু সমস্যাটা হচ্ছে mental health ওয়ার্ডটা বললেই আমাদের বাঙালি কমিউনিটিতে there's like sirens going off, যে oh my god, বাচ্চার মেন্টাল হেলথ সমস্যা হওয়ার কি আছে, এত ছোট বয়সে আবার ডিপ্রেশন কি জিনিস, আবার অ্যাংজাইটি কি জিনিস, and why আমাদের বাসার ভিতরে কি হচ্ছে, ওর লাইফে কি হচ্ছে, এটা আরেকজনের জানার দরকার কি। I guess আমাদের দেশে এই জিনিস, এই কালচারটা এই জন্য নেই, হয়তো অনেক এখন আস্তে আস্তে হয়তো হচ্ছে মেন্টাল হেলথ অ্যাওয়ারনেস হচ্ছে। অনেকে এই যে ডাক্তার বা লয়ার হতে গিয়ে অনেকেই হয়তো মেন্টাল হেলথ স্টাডিজ নিয়ে পড়েনি, সো বাংলাদেশে ওই রকম ওয়াইড স্প্রেড হেল্প অ্যাভেলেবলও না। এবং আমাদের কালচারের মধ্যে হচ্ছে আমরা মামা দাদা কাকা সবার সাথে কথা বলে, আমার সমবয়সী কাজিনদের সাথে কথা বললাম, things are like ওইভাবে gets resolved somehow, or you're not feeling isolated, like you are here. এখানের সিচুয়েশন গুলো ডিফারেন্ট। এখানের ওই হেল্প গুলো এক নম্বর আছে, এবং দ্বিতীয়ত ওই পরিমাণ ফ্যামিলি সাপোর্ট বোঝার মতো মানুষ এখানে নেই। সো ইন দ্যাট কেস কি করণীয়, মানে আই গেস তন্নির সাথে আমার কথা ছিল এটা নিয়ে, যদি তুমি একটু বলতে পারো
কি করা যায়।
হ্যাঁ, I mean you were saying that there is people who don't take anxiety and depression
like seriously. Yeah.
especially parents.
Yes. I think education is always the way to go. Like আপনি যেটা বলছেন যে বাংলাদেশে এরকম জিনিস like মানুষ এটার ব্যাপারে কথা বলে না, and I think ওইটা acknowledge করতে হবে। আমার মনে হয় তখন আমি আর একটু ছোট ছিলাম, আমার আমি অনেক রাগী একটা মানুষ, অনেক তাড়াতাড়ি আমার মেজাজ গরম হয়ে যায়। কিন্তু যেটা আমার শিখতে হয়েছে as I got older, আমার মা বাবা এরকম না যে তারা বুঝতে চায় না what I'm going through and কিরকম চেঞ্জেস হচ্ছে আমার জীবনে, কিন্তু with their মা বাবা তারা এবার এগুলোর ব্যাপারে কথা বলে নাই, স্কুলে তারা পড়ে নাই, so I have to give them that credit that they're doing pretty okay, they're at least able to say, আমার সাথে কথা বলো, I'm here to listen, and that's the first important step. কিন্তু I think that's where community organizations, doing a little promotional thing here, that's where it's important, আমাদের দেখতে হবে who is our community, তারা কি বুঝে আর কি, what has been limited in their experience and education, আর আমরা কেমনে তাদেরকে বুঝাবো যে এগুলি অনেক real serious ব্যাপার, and I think it's simple as having seminars and having তখন আমাদের একটা মেলা আছে, have a little announcement that a lifeline exists, or Gan Baksha will be talking about this, right. Just finding ways to integrate these topics into our community already and making it accessible.
ওখানে শুরু হয়। Sorry, no, I was going to say that I think as well it's important to acknowledge that it seems like such a big jinish and such a taboo jinish, but it's as common as hat bangano, There's a study that 1 in 3 people experience mental health issues in their life. So, dinni moddhe ek, right?
Wow.
And eto lokjon experience it, but often they don't know the vocabulary to sort of describe it and, be able to communicate it. And if you don't understand exactly what this thing is, then you don't know that you need to go and get help.
Right.
And really, it's in this country, you said it's so easy to get help. All you have to do is go to a local doctor, GP, and get a mental health plan, and you can get 10 sessions at the therapist free. It's so that simple. Or school doctor, counselor, community organization, and so parents, communities, and people experiencing it, they need to feel it's accessible, and there shouldn't be any stigma around it because it is so common. So many people go through it. Even if you don't think it's a big deal, it's worth having some support with it.
দিলীপ যেটা বললো সেটা হচ্ছে 3 জনের মধ্যে একজন মেন্টাল হেলথ এক্সপিরিয়েন্স করে, এবং এটা খুবই হাই ইন নাম্বার, যেটা আমার জানা ছিল না, আমি জানলাম। এবং ইটস টু বি অনেস্ট কোয়াইট সিভিয়ার তাইলে বলতে হয়। সেটা হচ্ছে আমরা একটা খুব উইয়ার্ড ড্রিম দেখলাম। ড্রিমের মিনিং খোঁজার জন্য আমরা গুগলে চলে যাচ্ছি। বাচ্চা বারবার একই বিহেভিয়ার প্যাটার্ন কেন করছে, এটা যদি আমরা একটু ঘাঁটি, অনেক সময় আচ্ছা আমার মেয়ে এসে আমাকে বারবার বলছে আই এম ফিলিং রিয়েলি লো, ডিপ্রেসড, সামটাইমস ইউজিং দোজ ওয়ার্ডস, যেটা হয়তো সে তার স্কুল কাউন্সিলরের সাথে কথা বলে হয়তো জানতে পেরেছে, হয়তো ওর ওই সিমটমসগুলো, ওই প্যাটার্নগুলো একটু সার্চ করে দেখা, একটু জানা, এবং তারপরে প্রফেশনালদের কাছে যাওয়া। বিকজ টু বি অনেস্ট, বাঙালি বাবা মা অনেক সময় এটা মেনে নিতেই মানে অনেক দেরি করে ফেলে, বিকজ দে আর ইন ডিনায়াল। it can't be happening to my family, not my child,
Yeah.
never my child, you
লোকজন
know.
কি বলবে?
লোকজন কি বলবে, there is that factor, but it's just that in denial really plays a big role
Yeah.
in stopping them to trying to get that help. So এই ক্ষেত্রে I guess reaching out, community organizations গুলো কি করছে তোমরা?
Pressure, like কাজে কি করতেছো? I think definitely প্রথম স্টেপটা হচ্ছে like getting to know our community, like যেখানে আমি কাজ করি আমি like it's like 20 minutes from my house, কিন্তু তখন আমরা research করতেছিলাম, আমরা just like বলো হাঁটতেছিলাম, would like prepare a free barbecue and like চিন্তা করতেছিলাম আচ্ছা how many people are vegetarian, how many people eat halal meat, like এরকম ছোট like what's it called, market research করা was the first step for us.
Right.
তারপর also just I guess feeding into what they want. So আমরা দেখছি যে আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে অনেক migrant family ছিল, অনেকগুলি ছিল like বাংলাদেশি মহিলারা with their children আর similar to you, like you know তাদের বাবা না হলে like জামাই still বাংলাদেশে ছিল, টাকা পাঠাচ্ছে না হলে you know they're still trying to get their visa.
Yep.
And then we have a lot of like you know other communities that are in similar kind of situations. তখন আমরা চিন্তা করি আচ্ছা like you know what do you do for fun, what is your kind of understanding about parenthood, and you know what do you want for your life here. তখন আমরা শুরু করতে পারছি like আচ্ছা we need childcare programs যেখানে like মহিলারা like শালা শিখতে পারে কিন্তু তাদের বাচ্চাদের like যত্ন আর you know like what's it called, like বাচ্চাদেরকে বাসায় রাখতে হবে না, কারণ আমরা জানি যে দাদু দাদি like you know পুরো গোষ্ঠী এখানে নাই যে like they're gonna babysit while আমরা একটা স্কিল শিখতেছি. তারপর young people এর জন্য it was very important, like আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে like কিছু ছিল না young people এর জন্য করতে, তারা just স্কুলে যাইতো বাসায় আসতো পড়তো, that's it. So আমরা like movie night শুরু করছি, then cooking programs or like upskilling the like work qualifications. So আমরা একটা cafe শুরু করছি, আর like young মানুষ তারা cafeta like business টা চালাচ্ছে. Some people make coffee, some people cook, and then other people are like serving.
Right.
So yeah, I think you know
life skills
Also.
exactly, yeah, like they don't teach you that in school.
No,
It's
exactly.
you know how do you
Unless
give
you're doing
change.
hospitality and to certain extent
Yeah.
only.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
সো আমার একটা কথা যেটা তোমাদের দুজনের কথা থেকেই বেরিয়ে আসছে বারবার, সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে মাইন্ডটাকে নেগেটিভের দিকে যাওয়ার চাইতে পজিটিভ দিকে কিভাবে রিক্রিয়েশনাল থিংস, ইভেন লাইক জানা নিজেকে যে আমার পছন্দ কি, আমি কিসে ইন্টারেস্ট ফিল করি, বাবা মার এটা জানা যে আমার বাচ্চারা কি পছন্দ করে. হয়তো অনেকে একটু ওভার প্রেশার করে ফেলে যে উল্টো পাল্টা দিকে না চলে যায়, তার জন্য একটা পিয়ানো ক্লাসেও ভর্তি করে দিল, একটা ভায়োলিন ক্লাসেও ভর্তি করে দিল, তার সাথে মার্শাল আর্টসও চলছে, সুইমিংও করছে, সো মাল্টিপল রিক্রিয়েশন. কিন্তু দেখা যাচ্ছে তারপর আবার এক্সপেকটেশনও থাকে যে অনেক ভালো করবে স্কুলে, কিন্তু রেস্ট অফ দ্য টাইম যেখানে পড়ার সময় ওই সময় দেখা যাচ্ছে সে রিক্রিয়েশন করছে. সো ইটস আ জ্যাম প্যাকড সো ওয়ের ইজ দ্য ব্যালেন্স আর কি, ওইটাও বোঝা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট যে উই ক্যান হ্যাভ অল দিস আইডিয়া যে আমরা এগুলি করতে পারিনি আমাদের দেশে, আমাদের ছেলে মেয়েদেরকে দিয়ে মানে দেখবো এটা ওরা করবে, and it will be such a big achievement, and you know, we are providing all these opportunities. কিন্তু সবার কোপিং মেকানিজম এক না, সবাই পারে না, ইউনো অনেকের জাস্ট স্কুলের সাথে আর একটা এক্সট্রা কারিকুলার অ্যাক্টিভিটি ইজ এনাফ, অনেকের তিনটা কারিকুলামও এনাফ না, বিকজ দে হ্যাভ সো মাচ এনার্জি. সো ইটস চাইল্ড বাই চাইল্ড, অবভিয়াসলি ভেরি ডিফারেন্ট. আমাদের 2019-এ যেই প্রোগ্রামটার কথা আমি বলেছিলাম শুরুতেই, সেটাতে অজয়দা বলেছিলেন যে উই প্যারেন্টস হু নিডস টু ট্রাভেল দ্য গ্রেটার ডিস্টেন্স, বিকজ আমরা হচ্ছি দ্য ম্যাচিওর্ড ওয়ান, the ones that should come more than halfway, because we are the older one, the wiser ones, and who can understand our children's needs better. Rather than expecting them to understand us, যেটা আমরা কিন্তু খুব সহজে করে থাকি, সেটা হচ্ছে তোমাকে বুঝতে হবে আমি আমার পরিবারকে ফেলে এখানে তোমার জন্য পড়ে আছি, তোমাকে একটা ভালো ফিউচার দেব বলে, তুমি একটা ভালো স্কুলিং করবে দেখে, আমি অনেক ভালো চাকরি করতাম, এখন আমি এত ভালো চাকরি করছি না, এই মানে গিল্ট ট্রিপগুলো পেরেন্টসরা অনেক সময় দিয়ে থাকে অ্যান্ড টু বি অনেস্ট এটা ওদের ফ্রাস্ট্রেশন থেকেই আসে এবং এটা ভুল বলছি না কিন্তু ইউনো ওদের পক্ষে বোঝাটা অনেকটা পসিবল হয়ে ওঠে না বিকজ ওরা ওই লাইফস্টাইলটা দেখেনি ওরা ওই ফিলিংসটার সাথে হয়তো রিলেট করতে পারছে না দ্যাটস নট দেয়ার ফল্ট বাবা মার অনেক সময় এখানের সিচুয়েশনটাও বোঝা দরকার এবং যেখানে মানে অনেক সময় হয়তো বুঝে উঠতে পারছে না ফর নট হ্যাভিং এনাফ সাপোর্ট সার্ভিসেস বিং ইনভলভড বা নট রিচিং আউট টু দেম ইদার বিকজ আমরা অনেক সময় নিজেরাই নিজেদের প্রবলেম সলভ করার জন্য খুবই চেষ্টা করি অনেক সময় হয়তো জাস্ট ভাবি বা আরেক ভাইয়ার সাথে কথা বললাম এবং উই থিঙ্ক দ্যাট হোয়াট এভার দে হ্যাভ টোল্ড আস ইজ এনাফ হ্যাঁ বা আমি একটা সলিউশন এটা কাজ করছে না আরেকটা ট্রাই করলাম that should be enough but it's not always enough you know আমি জিজ্ঞেস করবো তোমাদেরকে most challenging situation you've had to face at work and how you've managed to overcome that situation.
I think the most challenging situation আমার মনে হয় like I really struggle with working with clients jara like I see myself in them so onek like a lot of the clients that I work with tara amar like schooler theke na hole amar community te thake na hole like it's a very small group of people so
you see a bit of you in them
for sure like whether it's the client or the family situation or whatever they're going through আমার জন্য অনেক কষ্ট হয় তখন আমি দেখতেছি যে oh my god they're going through things that I saw in my friends or I saw when I was growing up কিন্তু ওই পার্সোনাল কানেকশনটা লাইক ওই ব্যারিয়ার কোথায় রাখবো আমি like সবসময় বুঝি না and I think I mentioned to you earlier like a big reason why I started social work was karon I want to be able to do things differently from my childhood from my adolescence কিন্তু it's this professional learning curve like আমি তো like আমার নিজের জীবনকে repeat করতে পারবো না I can't change it কিন্তু I can't also use that as my whole inspiration for everything that I do in the future so like I had this one client she যেটাই বলছিল আমি চিন্তা করছিলাম oh my god I was like this at 14 I was like this at 16 like sometimes I just want to shake her and be like I went through what you went through like just trust me when I give you this advice and when I say don't do this or just tell your parents they'll be very understanding about it কিন্তু I think I always have to come back to it and I have to remind myself like আমি ওখানে আছি as a support person তারা যতটুক বলতে চায় তারা বলবে and I can say whatever I want কিন্তু at the end of the day তারা তাদের নিজের মানুষ and they have to make decisions and their own life choices and that's going to contribute to who they are as a person and maybe তখন তারা আমার বয়স হয় তারা তাদের ছোট বোনের দিকে তাকাবে না হলে they'll do something and be like আমি ওরকম ছিলাম and like cringe at themselves so I think that's an ongoing issue for myself I think like protidin I go in and I'm like okay like right now I'm a social worker I'm not the borrowborn I'm not their friend that I can do things how I want it for sure so
that's amazing look you probably weren't 14 too long ago even 16 so it is very human to do that and I have been working in my sector for a long time but I still relate back to my childhood my youth very often and you do that but you then come back to that je na ekhane ami professional hisebe achi so Dilip tumi je tomar challenge niye bolte
আমার challenge one of the programs that I used to run we had a tutoring program but we didn't hire Lokjon for just tutoring we hired them as mentors so tutoring and mentorship together and I was one of those tutors as well and একটা লোক আসলো ওর নাম ছিল জাফার and Jafar একদমই স্কুল ভালো লাগতো না there was 2 weeks before his HSC and he comes and he doesn't even know what an essay is or what a paragraph is so he came to Australia a year before that right and so many of the foundational skills of how to write an essay, how to write a paragraph, hukum, that was assumed by the time he entered school. And he had so much to catch up, and the teacher didn't have time to go 2 years back and teach the class again. And he didn't have any support, so he felt, I can't catch up, I'll give up, and he just felt disengaged from school, disengaged from thing. And then now he comes to me 2 weeks before HSC. He has to do his English paper and he doesn't know the first thing about how to write an essay.
Very big challenge.
Very big challenge. And I think the way I approached it was start off by just listening to him and like seeing, what are your feelings about this? What do you know? What have you learned so far? How are you feeling about this big challenge of the HSC coming up? What do you want to get out of the HSC?
Yeah.
Is it even the right thing for you? And what I learned from him is he really has this love of learning, but he'd never had the opportunity to really engage with that because he felt too dumb. Right? So what we did was the first week or so, like the first couple of days, we spent hours together relearning those basic skills, working on, this is a paragraph, this is a thing, this is what the rubric is, this is the type of question to answer. And relating those learnings, not just like, textbook wrote learn, but relating it to his life, what's relevant to him.
Wow.
And then by doing that, it sort of ignited this because it clicks, and he was like, I understand this now. And he became really excited. And that excitement meant when we'd finish our tutoring sessions, he would go home and he would study so much to, learn that stuff and reinforce it. And when you had that passion click, then he was able to do his HSC, alhamdulillah. And he did so well. He's now studying science at university.
Wow.
And, he never thought that he would be there. But what it was really is unlocking that passion, or unlocking that key barrier that's stopping them from achieving what they really want to.
Right.
And that's, as a social worker, obviously, but as any person in someone's life, that's the best you can really do, is give them the opportunity to help themselves,
And that's so true. আর বিশেষ করে বাবা মাকে আমরা এটা এক্সপেক্ট করছি না যে you become the mentor or the tutor and pick up when they are in such a about to give HSC ওই সময়, but to pick up on the anxieties যে পরীক্ষা দিতে চাচ্ছে না কেন, এবং ওইখানে হেল্পটা প্রোভাইড করা, যে রাইট জায়গায় নিয়ে যাওয়া, ওই জিনিসটা আর কি খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। সো আমি এখন অন্য সাইডে চলে যাচ্ছি আমাদের কথার, সেটা হচ্ছে you're a founder of the Bright Spark International, which is a non-profit organization supplying educational materials to Papua New Guinea and Bangladesh. What roles does education play in minimizing concerns impacting youth worldwide?
I think a lot of people will agree with this, especially from Bangladeshi community. Education in many ways is the key to unlocking success, however you define it, at least in today's society. But that said, I don't think the main thing is the porashona, but more the support system that having education has, going to school regularly, being able to interact with your friends, having the support network of your teachers, that plus all the ATAR and everything you learn, that's all leads to you becoming a adult and sort of growing up in time. And with Bright Spark, I founded that at the end of HSC, and I was lucky enough to go to Bangladesh with a bundhu of mine who's a Shada bundhu who'd never been there before.
Wow.
And we went and
have you been there before?
Yes, I'd been there many times.
Okay.
And I founded it mainly wanting to give back to that community that I'd seen there, and seen the disparity between the opportunities I had and the opportunities they didn't have,
Yes.
But when I went back to Bangladesh, I could see firsthand, because we would travel to different schools in different grams with Kalna Bank, who were our sort of partners there, and we would travel, and when we talked to the teachers, they would say the biggest struggle they would face is having attendance. Students, it's not about whether they learn as much, they're not even showing up, right? And so what we did was we made school a bit more fun for them. We did big games, we sang songs, and we put a toy library there. And you think, toys, why would that help you study? But having those toys and having those toys change, students loved going to school to play with that toy. And when they love going to school, that's the first step to
that
them
was
loving
like
learning.
an incentive. এতক্ষণ পড়ার পর কিছুক্ষণ খেললাম আবার,
Exactly.
so it's a bit of everything that gets them motivated. because the motivation was lacking.
Sometimes you need to bribe them, you know.
So was it more coming from lower socioeconomic backgrounds that Baba Mother expectation to keep them at field working with them or at home doing household chores, or was it more around not having those good things to look forward to at school?
I think it's definitely both. You
Both?
know, Bangladesh, especially Grame, there is an idea of, you know, maybe go to year 4, but then there's not much use for school outside of, you know, unless you're going to go into university. You know, like if you're going to stay in the gram, if you're going to be a laborer or farm worker, তাহলে কি লাভ আছে, you know. So there was definitely a pressure from the parents not to go to school, but also I think it was mainly bachelor. If they don't enjoy it and all their friends don't enjoy it, they're going to go off, run around, mastani korbe, whatever. That's their enjoyment. So instead of having that enjoyment happen in an unsafe location, we saw the key values. They make sure they enjoy the safe location of the school. You know,
How big is this is an issue? যে বাবা মারাই গিভ আপ করতেছে যে দেখান আর কতই বা বড় হবে, কতই বা আগে যাবে পড়ালেখা করে, বিকজ কৃষকের ছেলে কৃষকই হবে, বা বেশি হলে পোস্টমাস্টার হবে, কিংবা লাইক স্কুলের টিচার হবে, লাইক এর থেকে বেশি চিন্তা করতে পারছে না। সো হাউ লিমিটিং ইজ দ্যাট?
I think it's all about mentality. I mean, I'm not an expert because I didn't grow up in that community. It's only from what I saw and talking to people there.
If you relate it to Australian perspective, Baba Mother not having that faith in the kids or their ability, how do you think that impacts? Even Tony can answer this question.
I think it's huge. I think it's similar to the social work thing analogy, where it has to start at home. People at home, your closest support network has to believe in you.
এই বিলিফটা শো করবে কিভাবে?
Good question. Like, আমার যেটা মনে হয়, it's like you give them that freedom and you be interested, you know, like we have children and it's like, okay, we have all these responsibilities, have a house, have food, have, you know, make sure they're going to school on time, but where's that emotional connection?
Right.
তুমি কি করতে চাও তোমার জীবনের সাথে? What are you interested in, you know? What do you want to do for fun? Like এই প্রশ্নগুলি কোথায়, you know? Like I think sometimes we get lost in the responsibility of get yourself a career, get yourself an education, do what you have to do, but you know, relationships are a beautiful thing, and that's why support networks are one of the most important ways to get out of this, you know, funk of mental health and mental illness. People just want to connect with who they resonate with.
And a lot of the times bachara do look up to their parents, and they're like, and অনেক বেশি অ্যাচিভিং প্যারেন্টসদের সাথে যেটা হয় যে I can never be like them, একটা কেমন জানি এই কাজ করে না, they're so good at whatever they're doing, and everybody I know around me is like, wow, you know, are you proud of your parents? Or কিছু না কিছু ভাবে বলে দিল যে বাবা মার মতো হবা বড় হয়ে, you know, because that's like no pressure, but it obviously there is pressure, and I must say guys, I'm guilty of this fact যে আমাদের সাথে আজকে গেস্ট স্পিকার যারা they're not parents, I have put them on spot where I'm asking them যে প্যারেন্টসদের কি করা উচিত। So you know, I believe যে কেউই ছোট না, কিংবা you know don't have that experience doesn't mean that you don't know the answers. You know, it's very valid points you have raised on me, because বাবা মার ওই রিলেশনশিপটা ক্রিয়েট করা, ওই মানুষ মানে এগিয়ে আসা, মানে জানতে চাওয়া, means a lot. এবং ওইখান থেকেই অনেক কনভারসেশন স্টার্ট হয় and কন্টিনিউ করে। সো এই তোমার অর্গানাইজেশনটা নিয়ে তোমার ফিউচার প্ল্যান কি, বা তোমার যদি মানে মোটিভেশন আর কি ছিল to even start this?
So the motivation to start it came with the conversation I'm about. And my father, you know, was a big advocate for do as much with your time as possible, and you know, he's like a doctor who's very successful, so I was guilty of that same issue of, you know, comparing myself to him too much. But you know, when I talked to him, what he said is, you know, I used to do the exact same thing. I used to compare myself to my father, and it was only when Dada died that he found there's no point in it, there's no you just get nothing out of that. If anything, it brings you sadness, right? And what he said to me is, if you want to do well, start something yourself and do something you're passionate about. And he knew that I was passionate about, helping others and giving back to my community. And he said, start a charity. And I thought, I'm a little 15, 16-year-old boy. How can I do this? So I got together some friends, and what we did was we went to different schools around Sydney, and we picked up boxes and boxes of books and toys, and we would keep them in a warehouse, and then we'd send them off to a location, and then send that to Bangladesh or Papua New Guinea. And in the end, we sent about 10,000 books and truckloads of toys as well overseas.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't really have any future plans for that. I think we achieved what we set out to achieve, and we created something we were proud of, and had lots of things we learned from it. But really, the main thing I got out of it was, no matter how small you are or, how much you feel, I'm just fresh-faced, you can always make active impact, however small, and that impact is meaningful,
Okay.
If you devote your time, your energy, or even just an idea to something, or even just money to something, that has an impact, and you can always drive that no matter how small you are.
Yeah. Well, 10,000 books যখন send করেছো, and there was need for it, I'm guessing.
Oh yes, the schools
Yeah,
really
so
needed them,
এখনো
yeah.
কি সেই নিডটা এক্সিস্ট করে, and সেটা মানে তুমি যদি না করো, is somebody else taking over?
So
or?
the main reason that we decided we don't really want to do it anymore, or like we want to take a step away from it, is because we found that we had 10 other projects that we were more needed in and calling our attention to. And there are a lot of players in this community sectors who are sending toys and books overseas. So we thought, rather than competing with them and doing some more, because that work is being done really well done,
Yeah.
let's find our impact somewhere else. And
Okay.
since then, been doing different projects.
So we should keep an eye, and most likely you'll come up with some more new initiatives.
Well, দেখা যায়.
So আমি মোটামুটি towards the end of my discussion চলে এসেছি। যেটা আমার প্রশ্ন তোমাদের দুজনকে, সেটা হচ্ছে, how can we make our Bangladeshi community more aware of the current issues concerning youth, and how to assist our next generation from having similar issues?
Well, I think we touched on it a lot throughout this episode.
Absolutely.
I think,
But to round it up and summarize this.
dot points.
Yeah.
I think continue the conversation first is most important. Like, onek manush eta shuntese ma, baba, bhai, bon. Go home and ask, like, hey, so I heard this. What did you think about it? Do you resonate with any of this? Do you struggle with any of this? Like, I'd love to be more supportive. And I think also acknowledge if you haven't been that type of person before as well. It's, we're all human. It's okay
Absolutely.
if, we had our biases, and if we weren't educated as much in one area than the other. And I think accept that we can learn and grow from each other. But I think also in terms of more practical steps, in terms of, I guess, like what you can actually do to support yourself or someone, go to the doctor with someone, offer that as something you'd want to do. Go on Google and type in, like, what is a mental health care plan, or what are the community services in your local area. Just try and discover like what exists around you to be able to provide that information to someone else. I think that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Not making it as
I
taboo.
guess also another thing that we did not touch upon, সেটা ছিল হচ্ছে sex education, বাবা মা অনেক সময় can talk amongst themselves, যে ছেলে হলে হয়তো বাবা discusses this with the son, মা হলে with the girl. So কে কথাটা বলবে, and it doesn't have to be that way, it can be the other way around. I'm just saying যে every household have their own rules. আর তুমি যেটা বললা সেটা very valid, সেটা হচ্ছে সবাই ভুল করি, এবং ভুল করে আমরা শিখি। ভুল করে ভুল রিপিট করাটা একটা বোকামি। আরেকটা জিনিস হলো যে ভুল করার পর সেটা স্বীকার করাটা হচ্ছে একটা বিশাল বড় ব্যাপার, বিকজ তাহলে বাচ্চারাও বোঝে যে তারাও ভুল করতে পারে, এবং ভুলটাই কিন্তু আলটিমেট সেন্টেন্স না, ইটস নট দি এন্ড। there's always areas to learn more. আর বাবা মার ক্ষেত্রে there is nobody comes with a manual যে this is the right way of parenting. প্রত্যেক দিন শিখছি, আমি অ্যাজ আ প্যারেন্ট আমি প্রত্যেক দিন শিখছি। যেভাবে আমি কথা বলছি আমার বাচ্চার সাথে, আমাকে এটা মনে রাখতে হয় যে আমার কথাগুলো becomes their inner voice, because আমাদেরকেই তারা বেশিরভাগ শুনছে এবং বেশি শুনছে compared to other people. They're looking up to us because আমাদেরকে তারা আইডল ভাবে অনেক সময়। বাবা মাকে বেশি পায়, একটা টানও থাকে, রক্তের টান, একটা রিলেশনশিপের জিনিস থাকে, রেসপেক্ট থাকে। সেই রেসপেক্টটাকে আমি কিভাবে মেনটেন করছি। অনেকেই মনে করে যে বাচ্চার সাথে বেস্ট ফ্রেন্ড হওয়া যায় না, বেস্ট ফ্রেন্ড না হওয়া গেলেও ফ্রেন্ড হওয়া যায়, হয়তো একটা সময় পর্যন্ত ইউ ক্যান কল ইউর সেলফ বেস্ট ফ্রেন্ড, বাট টু বি অনেস্ট একটা বয়সের পর এই যে টিন এজ ইউথ, এরা বলবে নো ইউর নট, আই হ্যাভ মাই ওন বেস্ট ফ্রেন্ডস, I don't even believe in the concept of best friends. So it's a very outdated thing apparently these days. So ফ্রেন্ডলি হওয়া এক জিনিস, ফ্রেন্ড হয়ে বেস্ট ফ্রেন্ড হওয়া, সব কিছু জানা আরেক জিনিস, সব কিছু না জেনেও হেল্প করতে পারা বা হেল্পটা খুঁজে দেওয়া, ওপেন মাইন্ডেড এনাফ হওয়া যে আমি আমার বাচ্চাকে ওই হেল্পটা অ্যাক্সেস করতে দিচ্ছি এবং আমার সোসাইটি, কালচার, টাবু যেগুলি আমাকে বলছে মানুষ কি বলবে সেগুলিকে গুরুত্ব না দিয়ে টু অ্যাকচুয়ালি রাদার বাচ্চাকে কিভাবে সাপোর্ট করতে পারি, নিজের পরিবারকে কিভাবে ভালো রাখতে পারি, আরও কানেক্টেড করতে পারি, কালচারাল এবং জেনারেশনাল গ্যাপটা কিভাবে কমিয়ে নিয়ে আসতে পারি সেটার দিকে ফোকাস করা। সো দিলির, হাউ উড ইউ সে?
I think you've touched on really valid and really important points there, and the one I would draw out most is listen, and listen with empathy. Keep that open mind, like you said. And also when you're talking to your children, don't just be like, oh, school kemon chilo, ki korla, ki shikla, or kichu shikte sunao kom, but rather be active in the way you're asking, be interested in what they're interested in, and ask them questions about what their passions are. And often you'll find that they will open up to you if you give them the opportunity to. And I think on a sort of community level as well, reserving judgment, stop not comparing different peoples and bacha ki korlo, talking about other people's and judgment okum, even if you're not doing it in front of their face, that has a residual effect on your children as well. So making sure that you are open-minded, not just in your family, but with everyone, and having that empathetic approach to life. And I think, it's we're human. It's hard to have that all the time, but just being mindful of it and knowing where the resources are and knowing when it's time to sort of bring on those resources. It's trial and error, but at least being open to it is the first step, definitely.
I guess আমি যে কথাটা বাবা মাদেরকে বলবো আজকে যারা শুনছেন, ইটস অ্যাবাউট আপনারা যখন বড় হচ্ছিলেন কি এমন জিনিস যেটা খুবই পেইনফুল ছিল আপনার জন্য, যে বাবা মারা আমার সাথে কেন এটা নিয়ে কথা বললো না, কেন আমাকে বুঝিয়ে দিল না, আমি তো বোঝার জন্য খুবই ইন্টারেস্টেড ছিলাম, আমি জানতে চাইছিলাম, বাট কেন আমাকে তখন বললো না, আমাকে হয়তো বললে আমি এই প্রবলেমের মধ্যে পড়তাম না, হয়তো I would have been less trusting towards opposite sex, for example, আমার লাইফ পার্টনার চুজ করার ক্ষেত্রে কিংবা ফ্রেন্ডস চুজ করার ক্ষেত্রে in a lot of way, our previous generations had to figure things out on their own. So ওই জিনিসগুলো কেন আবার রিপিট হবে, যেইগুলি আমরা নিজেরা সাফার করেছি, এখানে আসার পর সেই জিনিসগুলো কেন আমাদের বাচ্চাদেরকেও সাফার করতে হবে, নট নেসেসারিলি, এবং আমরা উই ক্যান বি দ্য চেঞ্জ, অ্যান্ড দিস ক্যান স্টপ from our generation. আমাদের থেকে এই চেঞ্জটা হোক না কেন। সো ওইটাই হচ্ছে গিয়ে কথা। আমি বলবো দিলিরের প্যারেন্টসকে আমি খুব ভালো করে চিনি গুণী বাবা মার গুণী সন্তান অ্যান্ড আমি বলবো ইউর আ ভেরি ব্রাইট ইয়াং ওম্যান আই ক্যান সি যে তোমরা দুজনেই যে কমিউনিটিকে ফেরত দিচ্ছ এটা অনেক বড় একটা বিষয় এবং ইটস নট ইজি যেমন তুমি বললে তো নিজের সাথে you can relate so much এবং it gets personal এবং যে কোনো সোশ্যাল ওয়ার্কারের ক্ষেত্রে এটা খুবই চ্যালেঞ্জিং যে এই বাউন্ডারিটা টানা যে এটা প্রফেশনাল আর এটা পার্সোনাল এবং you're giving everything and from such a young age so just look out for yourself don't get burnt out and when you need to change your career do so because there comes a time when you do need that change maybe and maybe come back to it you never know but কোনো একটা way is not the right way আমরা আজকে পুরো এপিসোডে এটাই বলার চেষ্টা করেছি যে একভাবে হয়ে এসছে বলে সেটাই কন্টিনিউ করতে হবে নট নেসেসারিলি আর আমাদের বাচ্চাদের থেকে আমাদের এক্সপেকটেশন থেকে থাকতেই পারে কিন্তু সেটা আলটিমেট এক্সপেকটেশন হতে হবে নট নেসেসারিলি ওরা কি চায় ওদেরকে ওটা পারসু করতে দেওয়া বাই অল মিনস যে নেগেটিভ দিকে যাওয়ার সময় কিভাবে পজিটিভ রিএনফোর্সমেন্টগুলো করা যায় তাদেরকে পজিটিভ দিকে কিভাবে গাইড করে নিয়ে আসা যায় ঠিক আছে একটা গ্যাপ তৈরি হয়ে গেছে সেই গ্যাপটাকে কিভাবে মিটিগেট করা যায় কিভাবে কমিয়ে আনা যায় সেটার উদ্দেশ্যে চলুন একসাথে কাজ করি এরকম শো আপনারা যদি আরও শুনতে চান এবং এই ডিসকাশনের পার্ট হতে চান অবশ্যই আমাদেরকে কমেন্ট করে জানিয়ে দিন আজকে আমরা সময় স্বল্পতার কারণে কমেন্টগুলো পড়ার সময় করে উঠতে পারিনি তার জন্য দুঃখিত কিন্তু অবশ্যই আপনারা যদি আপনাদের মন্তব্য করে থাকেন আমি বলবো দিলের and Tony please keep an eye out on the Facebook live comment section and see if you can answer any of the questions that people might have অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে